The mindfulness of thoughts meditation will help you become more aware of your thoughts, and it can help you recognize the effect that your thoughts are having on the way that you feel. Thoughts directly influence our emotions and play a key role in shaping how we feel and what we do in any given moment. So I'd like to take you through a scenario to illustrate this point. If you'd like to, please close your eyes and imagine the following situation. Imagine that you've invited a friend over for dinner. You or your partner have gone to some effort to prepare a meal. Your friend was expected to arrive at 7 p.m, but it's now 8 p.m. and you haven't heard anything. Notice what's going through your mind. Notice how you're feeling. And now open your eyes. So what did you notice about what went through your mind? And what were you feeling? Here are some common examples of thoughts that people have in this situation. So they might think, so he's forgotten, it wasn't important to him. Something must have happened. What if she was in a car accident? Or he hasn't bothered to call to say he'll be running late. That's so rude. Or great, thankfully I have some extra time to clean the house before he gets here. So notice that each of these thoughts leads to a different emotion. So he's forgotten, it wasn't important to him, might lead to feelings of rejection and sadness. Or she hasn't bothered to call me to say she's running late, that's so rude, leads to anger. Or something might have happened to her. What if she was in a car accident? Can lead to feelings of worry and anxiety. And great, thankfully I've had some extra time to clean the house before she gets here, might lead to feelings of relief. Each thought is also likely to lead to a different behavioural response, ranging from maybe calling your friend to deciding that you've had enough, calling off the friendship. Notice that at this point there's really no factual information about what's really happened. We're just speculating on the possibilities. The only fact that we have is that our friend has not arrived yet, which means all of these thoughts are mere interpretations. They're not necessarily facts. So before we jump to conclusions, we really need more information. We need to call our friend and find out what's happening. But hopefully this exercise demonstrates how quickly we can get caught up in certain lines of thinking before we have all the facts. We're already feeling frustrated, sad, or anxious without knowing the full picture. Our thinking is easily biased and can be influenced by a number of unhelpful thinking styles that we'll look at in the next section. So let's take a look at some common unhelpful thinking patterns. Catastrophizing. This is blowing things out of proportion so they become bigger than they really need to be. So thinking that a situation is awful, terrible, or dreadful, when really it's just bad or difficult or a nuisance. So when we exaggerate the severity of a situation, we tend to feel much worse about it. Black and white thinking, all or nothing thinking. Seeing only one side or another, claiming that something is all good or all bad, or right or wrong, without recognising that middle ground or the shades of grey. Personalising. This is taking things personally or blaming yourself excessively when you may only be partly responsible or not responsible at all. So not seeing that other people or other factors may be involved. A mental filter is only seeing one small part of a situation, and often the negative part, and ignoring the positive aspects or other factors. And this is seeing situations through a negative lens or filter. Jumping to conclusions. This is predicting the future and making assumptions, and usually negative ones, when you really don't know what lies ahead. Or it's mind reading, assuming that you know what other people are thinking. So shoulds and musts. This is creating rigid rules about what you should do or must do, or what you shouldn't or mustn't do. So some shoulds are ethical principles that help a society to function well. For example, one should not steal. However, many rules are unhelpful and unnecessary that we create for ourselves, like I must be liked by everyone, or I should never make mistakes. Misattribution. This is incorrectly linking two issues together as if they are associated. And there may be no connection between the events, or they may be very tenuously linked. You'll find a handout on these unhelpful thinking styles that you can print out to look over a few times. And once you've learned these unhelpful thinking styles, you'll find that you can recognise when your thinking is biased. And this is the first step to finding a more balanced way to look at any situation. The following exercise is designed to help you challenge unhelpful thinking that may be perpetuating your insomnia. So step one is first recognizing your unhelpful thoughts about sleep. And then we can identify the unhelpful thinking styles. Step two is challenging the thoughts. So the second step is to challenge the thought by asking yourself some questions to help you generate a more balanced thought. The questions that you could use to dispute unhelpful thoughts are, what evidence do I have to support this thought or belief? Is there any evidence that contradicts this thought or belief? Is there any other way to view this situation? And if my friend said this to me, this is the unhelpful thought, then what would I say to him or her? So here are some common unhelpful thoughts that people have when they experience insomnia. Which unhelpful thinking styles can you identify with each thought? So please take your time to complete the following exercise to help you generate more balanced and helpful thoughts about sleep.